just about there. And it says I'm live, but I might be lagging again. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. I should figure out how to fix that. Yeah, we'll see if I can. Okay. And I don't really know what I'm doing, so I apologize for the awkward. Yeah, I really don't know what I'm doing. I've never. Oh, look, I can move the screen around. This is so weird. I never thought I'd do that. I don't know if you guys even want to be able to see this. Um, I'm meant to put myself in the corner. Okay. And now, yeah, this is awkward. So this is fun. I've never done a live stream like this before. But I found that live streaming actually does seem to help me with my depression. And tonight is not the best night because I had some really bad nightmares earlier. Yeah, at one point my primary care provider said that he agreed it sounds like I have narcolepsy. At the time it was not worth testing because I was not sleeping for the night ever because my baby was like 2 months old. And the same symptoms, my therapists have thought that I have PTSD, but we don't know what would have happened that would trigger the specific PTSD. The nightmares do have things in common. So anyway, I have been researching fictional princesses to get an idea of what to do with the book 4 in my series because everything has kind of changed around. It was going to be Little Red Riding Hood and now it is not. It will still have elements. But I'm not sure how many elements of fairy tales are going to have in it. I'm thinking of teasing this character because this character swears a lot, and instead of having swear words in it, it says redacted. So like the title is these redacted wolves, and it has redacted in the book. That's what it straight up says. And I can't tell if you guys can actually see my face. Oh, somebody actually watching. Hello. So yeah, I'm looking for ideas of what else I might do because I might just like have each chapter have elements of a fairy tale just to mess with him. Have him be the main character, like the princess character in each fairy tale. Because I'm thinking of having the subtitle of this book be not a fairy tale retelling because I'm not a redacted princess, and I know that's a really long title, but I think it's fitting for this character. I've already done a lot of weird things for these books, so we'll see. So far, I've been drawn to mostly Russian fairy tales, which is totally by chance. Those are just the ones that draw my attention. The Princess on the Glass Hill caught my attention, but this one really just seems like a Cinderella spinoff. But it's interesting. Yeah, I've just been using Wikipedia because uh, it's easy. I like Sur La Lune. That's what I often go to, but right now I just want quick versions. And I'll probably look at Sur La Lune later if I need more inspiration. I might not need enough details of any specific fairy tale do, to do that, though. I might just take a few elements. If it's just going to be one per chapter or less than that, we'll see what happens. The Boots Who Made the Princess Say That's a Story. This one's interesting. The Wild Swans. I know I've read a few that are similar to the Wild Swans. I don't know if I've read that one specifically before. And sorry, I think it's all around. This one's my favorite. I know I've read this one before. I don't know if I would include Tsarevich, Ivan the Firebird, and the Grey Wolf, though, just because that's such a long fairy tale. Oh, hey, there's a movie. That looks interesting. Anyway, yeah, so I'm just gonna keep scrolling. Let's just double check where I left off. Right, Princess on the Glass Hill is the last one I read, so I haven't closed any browsers since I was last looking at this. And I'm avoiding the ones that look like books and movies that do not have a historical background. Because that is not the kind of thing that I want. I want like actual fairy tales. I don't know if I've heard of the three daughters of King Ohara. Let's see. One wanted the cloak of darkness, wished for the handsomest man. Second sister asked for the next best. The youngest one wished for the best white dog, and it arrived in a golden coach with 4 horses to take her away. The king returned and was enraged. Let's see. Those two were asked by their husbands how they wanted them during the day, as they are during the day, as they are at night. Both want them as they are during the day. Their husbands both are men during the day, but seals at night. The youngest was also asked and answered the same, so her husband was a dog by day and a handsome man by night. She gave birth to a son. Interesting. Oh goodness, I hate fairy tales where something happens to the kid. Even though most of them, a lot of these fairy tales, dramatically solve everything and nothing bad happens. But, I mean, not to the main character. But, like, a gray crow took the baby when he was a week old and she did not weep. I would have wept. I don't know what I would have done. Anyway. Let's see. Oh. This is weird. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be incorporating this, and I keep getting... This part of the problem with this is I get distracted reading the fairy tales. Forget what I'm actually doing. Probably doesn't help that I'm also live streaming, because I also have that on my mind. French ones are usually fun. I mean, by fun, I don't know what I mean. But if you've ever read the full version of Lady and the Beast by Lady Villeneuve, however you say that, I think I'm remembering the right version. That's my favorite. I've seen online sources that say that the Disney version gets it right, but they, his most like that one, they do a really good job keeping to that version, and no, they do not. They so do not. Because the whole part with Belle and her dad and her siblings and having to stay at the castle and then saving his life, that's only the first half of the story. The second half of the story spends just as much time describing all of the background and history of what happened leading up to, everything from before Belle's birth and everything about Belle's birth, and then everything to the curses that were placed on both of them and how both of them were broken, and their reunion with Belle's original parents. Not Belle, it's Beauty, obviously. Not obviously. I'm tired. Anyway, I get all worked up about that. It's a really freaking awesome story, and I love it. And a lot of people, I don't hear anyone ever talking about it, or people don't seem to know what's happening. Anyway, so Fortuné, something like that. Felicia and the pot of pinks. Let's focus. Poor Labor dying wished to divide his goods between his son and daughter. Once a great lady visited him and gave him a pot of pinks and a silver ring for his daughter, who left them to her, and 2 stools, a straw mattress, and a hen to his son. Soon after he died, the brother forbade his sister to sit on a stool and ate the eggs the hen laid, giving her only the shells. She went to her own room, where she found filled with the delicious stench from the pinks. She realized they were dry and watered the stream. There she saw a great lady, the queen, who summoned her. Oh yeah, by the way, if you don't want spoilers from actual fairy tales, you probably shouldn't watch, but these are just Wikipedia versions. So, I don't worry about it. Spoilers usually don't bother me to begin with. The girl told her that she did not fear robbers because she had nothing to steal. The queen asked whether they could steal her heart. The girl said that without her heart she would die, which she did fear. The queen fed her, and then she said she had to water her pinks, and found that her pitcher had been turned to gold. The queen told her to remember that the queen of the woods was her friend.
The girl offered her the pinks as half of what she owned. When she went back, she found her brother had stolen them. She returned and offered the ring instead. I usually do not read out loud as I do this, but since I'm streaming this as a video, probably should do something and be awfully boring. I mean, my screen's probably too small for anyone to even really see, especially if you're on a phone. And this does confuse me again. It's saying again that I have one concurrent viewer, but I really don't know if that actually means someone's there. So I did that last time, and I never got confirmation that anyone was watching them either. But if you're a real person, then hi. Hope you're having a good night. Let's see, she went back and kicked the cabbage and rebuked her, and then said if she'd only planted again, it would tell her what her brother had done with the pinks, hid them in his bed. Yeah. Should really not check his bed? I mean, that's like the first place I'd check if my sibling stole something. She replanted it, but did not know how to retrieve the pinks. Then she went to wring the hen's neck and resignedly told her that she was not the peasant's daughter, but a princess. Her mother had already had 6 daughters, and her husband and father-in-law had threatened to kill her if she did not have a son. Oh, mom's husband. It's very confusing right now. Her fairy sister sent her own baby, a son, to replace her new daughter, but the princess had already fled to this cottage. There she met the hen, who was Meleager's wife. The lady had come, and the woman had told the princess a story that the lady had turned her into a hen. The same lady had returned to give Meleager the ring and the pinks, and also the gift. I am not following the story very well, but it is the kind of story that I think I could incorporate some elements of in this book. So I'm going to go write that one down. And I'm just going to write Felicia and the pot pinks because it's going to bother me that I can't type the accent. And I don't want to copy paste it because then I'll have to fix the formatting. Unless I remember to paste about formatting, but I never do. Anyway. Alright. Princess Belle Étoile, is that how you say that? French fairy tale. I want to say I've read this one, it sounds vaguely, the name sounds familiar, not just the bell part. The let's see. The dancing water, the singing apple, and the speaking bird. So you can, stories with really obvious features like that, like singing apple, dancing water, speaking bird. Those are the kinds I look for because those are kinds that are typically easier to incorporate elements into a book if you just want to, if that's all you want to do. Let's see. Queen has reduced poverty into selling sauces to support herself and 3 daughters. When did this take place? Okay. One day an old woman came to them and begged that they feed her a fine meal. They did so, and the woman, being a fairy, promised that the next time they wished something without thinking of her, it would come true. For a long time they could not make a wish without thinking of her. But one day the king came by. The oldest daughter, Roussette, said that if she married the king's admiral, she would make sails for all his ships. The second, Brunette, that if she married the king's brother, she would make him lakes enough to fill a castle. The third, Blondine, said that if she married the king, she would bear him 2 sons and a daughter who would have golden chains about their necks and stars on their foreheads, and jewels would fall from their hair. I'm guessing Roussette is red-haired and Brunette is brown-haired and Blondine is blonde, right? A favorite repeated their words to the king, who summoned the sisters, and soon the marriages were concluded. A splendid wedding feast appeared out of nowhere, served on golden dishes, and the woman realized it was from the old woman. Oh, and I've specifically been looking at princess fairy tales, by the way, because the idea is that I'm going to mess with him by giving him a princess's place. So that's how I'm doing that. Anyway, that thought just came to me. These things are gross. Bought some roasted edamame seeds because when I moved from California to Utah as a 12-year-old, I was obese. And when we got here, I finally got to get a bike and ride it for like the first time in my life. In California, like the neighborhood was too dangerous and stuff.
I don't know. At the same time, my mom did a bunch of healthy snacks, and one of them was the edamame seeds, and so I ate a lot of those back then, and just lost a lot of weight that summer. And I saw them on Amazon. It was like, oh, well, I'm trying to lose weight now, trying to get back into riding my stationary bike, so I should get some. And they are way nastier than I remember, but that's probably why they work to make me stop snacking. They taste good for the first like half a second. Anyway, back to it. I'm gonna get up to replace my water in a minute. The king's mother was furious to see that her sons had married such a lowly woman. Roussette was jealous of her sisters. They met the son, Bloody had 2 sons and a daughter. And the queen and wait, what? Oh, Bernat gave birth to a son and then died. And Blondine gave birth to 2 sons and a daughter, and the queen and Roussette put 3 puppies in their place. Not another one. They took the children, including Brunette's kid, into a maid who scrupled to kill them, but he put them in a boat. I guess. Oh no. But put them in a boat. With necklaces that might pay for their support if someone found them, the queen was sent back to her mother. The fairies guarded the boat until it fell in with a pirate ship. Sorry, I'm like in a weird position. I'm trying to be, for one, my laptop is kind of low on this desk, but also I have really bad knots in my neck that are apparently related to TMJ. I need to go get that, have something done about that. You know, my mind is probably wondering a lot less than it would have been if I wasn't live streaming right now, so I guess that's good, right? Oh. Let me just double check something real quick. I think I forgot to send off my plane on town. No, I did not. Okay. I've been playing Township lately, so it's what's gotten me through the day, a lot of days for the last couple weeks. Alright. Yeah, now I'm getting distracted. Okay. Let's see. The fairies guarded the boat until it fell into the pirate ship. The captain brought them to his childless wife, and they found that jewels fell from the children's hair. Oh, from the children's hair. The captain gave up his piracy because he would be rich without it. They named the princess Belle Etoile, French for beautiful star. Her brother Petit Soleil, little son, and their younger Hero, Happy, and their cousin who did not have a chain or star but was more beautiful as cousins, Cherie, Darling. Okay. As Belle Etoile and Cherie grew up, they fell in love, but believing themselves brother and sister deeply regretted it. Wait, aren't they siblings or no, cousins? Yeah, they're cousins, so it's not like that's much better. I guess they don't care French royalty. One day she overheard the pirate and his wife talking and learned where they had come from. She told her brothers and cousin, and they told the pirate and his wife that they wished to leave. The pirate implored them to stay, but Hero persuaded him that they wondered too much about their birth to endure it. They set sail on a marvelous ship, arrived at the castle of the king, their father, and the king marveled over them. They asked only for a house in which to stay. The queen mother realized from the description that these were her grandchildren. She sent a maid who had failed to drown them, and the woman told Belle Etoile that she needed the dancing water, which would keep her from ever looking old. She told that story, and Cherie stood out at once against her will. Oh, so that's like not... Okay, I thought they were saying that was the excuse for... Like, I didn't drown them because you needed that water, because it's dancing water. That's what I thought she was saying. Wikipedia does not always have the best grammar. She told that story, and Cherie set out at once against her will. He found a spring and rescued her death from drowning. It set all sorts of animals that burrow to dig up the dancing water. And Cherie returned with it, freed the dove, and it flew off rather salty. Interesting. The maid came back with a tale of the singing apple, and Cherie once again set out. This time a reading stranger directed him to the apple, and by helping a wounded dove, he gained the knowledge of the dragon that guarded it. At this point, I know I'm probably going to use this in the book, but I'm thinking about, like, this is the one I'll consider using elements of, but I want to know how it ends. This time it reached Ginger from the apple, and by helping a wounded dove, he gained the knowledge of the dragon that guarded it, how it could be frightened off by mirrors, and returned with the apple. The maid returned to the tale of a low-winged bird that knew everything. But L'Etoile was deeply distressed by this. She realized it could tell her who their parents were and where they came from. Wait. So they came here and they asked the king and queen for a house, but they didn't know the king and queen knew their families, so what? Cherie set out again, but when he had nearly reached the bird, the rock opened and he fell into a hole and was transformed into stone. How tragic. Just reminds me a tiny bit of a movie that recently came out that was animated. I will not say more than that because spoilers. Well, in that case, it was not stone. L'Etoile felt ill from her distress at his absence, and Petit Soleil set out to find Cherie, but suffered the same fate. And then Perrault, I really don't know if I'm saying that right. I was ignoring French, but I kind of still struggle with all the different vowels. And I say English is hard. I'm not struggling so much with French. But L'Etoile set out after them and rescued a dove from snow. It advised her not to climb the mountain where the bird perched, but to sing below it and lure it down. She did so, and the bird advised her on how to free her brothers and all the rest of the prisoners. Meanwhile, the queen mother had persuaded the king that his marriage to Blondine set aside, and married again. So she's not there. Okay. Roussette persuaded the queen to invite Blondine to the wedding. The king invited the 4 children and left the gentlemen to their arrival. The gentlemen on their arrival told them the king's story. L'Etoile and her brothers arrived for the wedding, bringing their treasures, told how they were abandoned, and showed them to the king. Finally, the king asked the green bird whose children were and where they came from. The bird proclaimed that they were the king's children and nephew. The queen mother, Roussette, and the maid were all punished, and instead of marrying himself, the king married his daughter, L'Etoile, to Cherie. Interesting. Yeah. I could definitely know variants. I'm not looking at those more later. See, if I were smart, I'd probably just be linking these. I probably should just link these and everything. Yeah, let's do that. So, copy that one. Otherwise, it's gonna take, I mean, it'll only take a little bit longer to pull them all back up later, because I really don't want to keep them open. I hate having tons of tabs open. I at least want to be able to read what's on each tab. That's fortunate. Even though I'm also planning on I'm probably going to be reading longer versions. We'll see. It really depends on how impatient I am to get writing, because I think I am starting to get to the point where I just want to start writing the book. Yeah. Hope you can't read these spoilers. Just kidding, it's not that much of a spoiler. It might not even happen. But I specifically pressed enter a few times so you couldn't see the rest of my notes, because those are definitely spoilers. I don't know how much I want to give away. Of course, not like tons of people are reading my books. Although I did have a paperback sale. Somebody got somebody's paperback book shipped out today. And that's exciting. I haven't had a sale in like a month. So, yeah, good news. I don't even check which one it was. I wonder if somebody was ordering the 3rd book or if a new reader was ordering the 1st one. Wait, what did I just copy? Wild Spots. Okay. That would be lame if I started connecting the wrong thing. And see, I think I did already close a lot of these tabs, because I just hate having So many tabs open. Yeah. One of these fairy tales confused me because they mentioned Helena Beautiful. It's like, who's Helena Beautiful? And Google just brought up Helena Troy, and I'm pretty sure that's not who they're talking about, because this is a Russian fairy tale. Yeah. Let's see. And I'm not going to go and make the rest of these right now, just because I just have to pull them up again, and I'm going to pull them up again later when I go back to read them anyway, so why bother doing it now? That's basically my thought. Wow. The 12 princesses. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's... Okay, I guess they made a separate one for the 12 princesses versus the 12 dancing princesses. Maybe they weren't named in the original fairy tale? I don't know. That's one fairy tale I haven't actually read before because the fairy tale itself kind of bores me. I did read the book by Jessica Day George. I kind of just feel like I have to read any book by other, like Utah or LDS authors I know, especially if I know them. And I've met Jessica Day George, and I have signed copies of a couple of her books, but don't actually know her. She won't accept my friend request because we don't know each other in person. Which kind of makes me sad because I see her commenting on all my friends' posts and interacting with them. Anyway, whatever. I mean, that's just how it works. I mean, my dream agent was the same way. But we did meet in person at Tunaka Boot Camp in Utah. And she did accept my friend request, so that's kind of cool. But not that she's ever active. I don't know if she ever sees my posts. I don't know who sees my posts. There's like 4 or 5 authors who interact with me regularly when I actually post. And they don't post a lot. Alright, anyway. Oh. Okay, anyway. Scandinavian princess. Ooh. Oh wait, let's see the little preview. Oh. Never mind, it's from Sherlock Holmes. As much as I love Sherlock Holmes, I really, really love Sherlock Holmes, always have. That is not what I want. Cannot tell what name it says. That sounds like a book series. And the Sunlight book series. And I know that's not a book series. That is quite the name. I don't know if I know. Okay, let's just take a look at that. Badrul Bador? Is that how you say it? Bador. Full moon of full moons. Ah, so the princess isn't, her real name isn't Jasmine. I guess I can see why they changed it. It looks kind of hard to say. That's cool. It's funny, I don't know, I think that okay, I know I've heard the name before. But I don't know if I've ever actually heard of this before. Wait. She was made an Arabian princess? Is it saying that she was not an Arabian princess in the original? This just says she was a princess. Huh. Interesting. Okay, I guess I'd have to go read the actual story. I guess I can go link that then, because at first I was just listing down, like, Disney fairy tale retellings. which I have not used in the series. Because, there's only 4 other books. Well, 3 that are published. I think the last one's going to be Rapunzel. We will see. It's going to be either Rapunzel or Swan Lake. Because I really love Swan Lake. Okay, I love Swan Princess. I've never seen Swan Lake. My friend gave me a link to watch it, and I have not spent a lot of time watching things lately, especially by myself, because I just can't concentrate. I get so distracted. This is one of the best known and most reachable little fairy tales. I've never super liked a lot of these 1001 Night stories. I've always found them disturbing on some level for some reason. I got really excited for a second when I saw these French words and realized I understand what they are. But it's just 1001 Night, so it's not going to be hard to tell anyway. Or hard to guess. I love learning languages though, and actually being able to understand things. It's exciting to me. And apparently Aladdin is from China. Recruited by the sorcerer. I'm familiar with that part of the tale. But I'm not super familiar with the part where he actually marries Princess. Anyway, I'll come back to that because I can feel myself starting to get too distracted to pay attention. Hey, Princess Bride. If you haven't seen that movie, you should. It's hilarious and so awesome. The Ugly Princess and the Wise Fool. Interesting. The Brave Little Tailor. I keep forgetting it does previews. I don't remember doing this in the past. I usually use my phone. In the past, I've never ever researched fairy tales on my laptop, but I've been watching fairy tale reading on my phone. Okay, that's not a super helpful synopsis. They're just summarizing what's in there, which I guess makes sense if you're finding it from some other place. Oh, my back hurts. Oh, okay. I don't know. I even see that. Okay. Sorry, totally over here. I'm here in pajamas. I took off my cute glasses because I think they've been making my TMJ worse, which is weird and not something I'd ever considered. But I noticed that I had a headache when I put them back on after taking a nap. But I didn't have a headache before. I mean, I did, but not during that time. Let's see. The tailor is preparing to eat some jam, but when flies settle on it. Oh, wait. I think I read this one, like yesterday when I was studying. But that's weird. Does it have 2 different names? Hold on a second. Yeah, I have read this. Okay, it's just a variant. I mean, not necessarily just a variant, but for my purposes, it's just a variant. The Golden Bird, I think I'm familiar with that one. I think I've read this one in the past. Let's see. The Pursuit of the Golden Bird by Gardner's 3 Sons. Yeah, I don't understand that French language. I mean, they and the obviously, it's the la, I guess it's the local. I'm learning too many languages and I cannot keep all the sounds straight. I've read this one too. Yeah, okay. Yeah. King Freshwood. Ooh, there's a Goose Girl. But not Goose Girl, it's just a Goose Girl. I think I've read the original version once. But I like Shannon Hill's version a lot better. That's my favorite book ever. I don't know if it's necessarily the best book I've ever read, but it's like the closest to my heart, basically. It is now after 2 in the morning, and I don't know when I'm gonna go to bed. But my kids are probably gonna wake me up for later than 9:30. So in the next hour, probably good. Yeah. A beautiful but spoiled and shallow princess rudely criticizes all her suitors because she is too proud. She is impressed with the last one, but her pride will not let her accept him. He is a young king with such a thick beard that to her it looks like a thrush's beak. So she clearly does him King Thrushbeard. He leaves in anger. Her father, exasperated and angry at how she scorned them all, vows that the first man who comes to the palace the next day, whether he be a noble or a peasant, will become her husband. Meanwhile, an unknown stranger overhears the conversation. When the young minstrel with the clean-shaven face appears in the palace the next day, the king offers his daughter's hand in marriage. He disapproves of marrying her immediately, as she does not look strong, nor does she appear to be capable of any practical work. However, he notes the poor cannot be choosy and agrees to marry her. She opposes vehemently, how do you say that, because he is a commoner, but the king has given his word. She marries him, and he takes her away from the palace to his home. As they travel to the minstrel's home, they pass by the farmlands and properties that belong to King Thrushbeard. This minstrel totally is King Thrushbeard, isn't he? Like, he just shaved. So I didn't think at the beginning. Thought it's gonna have like some crazy twist, and either way, she's marrying him. When the princess begins to regret spoiling him, they don't have his home in the house, but only for swine. He treats her as though she was a commoner, and she's upset now that she must work for a living. She's kind of doing practical chores and selling pottery, but like she's completely inept. How did her dad agree to this? Just what state is their kingdom in? Anyway. Thoroughly annoyed at her, he told her the only job left for her is to work as a servant at the nearby castle of the young king, King Thrushbeard. And honestly, what was the minstrel doing that does not work anymore? Like, he just married a princess, and now he's going to stay home and make work for him. The princess is immensely ashamed that she must forget the possible suitor, so she's so harshly scorned it, deeply regrets doing so. But puts her pride aside when she realizes that her husband is depending on her to help out with the household. Whoa, she actually put her pride aside. When did that character development happen? Eventually she swallows the last of her pride and becomes so compassionate that she throws scraps of food to the mice who live in their home because she realizes they are hungry too. Just as her life is going smoothly, the princess discovers one day that King Thrushbeard is getting married. She is forced into the great hall by him for a dance. It causes her pockets containing scraps of food to burst open. What? It's all over for her. Everybody laughs. She's so embarrassed that she flees the hall crying. However, much to the princess's surprise, someone helps her up. First and finally is the minstrel, who smiles and asks why she's crying on her wedding day. She is shocked to discover he is really King Thrushbeard. Told you so. He fell in love with her despite her scorn and secretly married her through her father's vow. Her ordeals were meant to cure her of her proud, spoiled ways in punishment for her cruelty towards him. She is ashamed of herself and thanks him for teaching her to be compassionate to others, telling him that she is not worthy to be his wife. But he forgives her as he has seen that her experiences have changed her. They marry with her father at the wedding. She asks before the whole court that he brings beard back. He from the land is known by no other name but King Thrushbeard, and they all look happily ever after. Okay, that's interesting. I kind of want to reference that somehow, because there's, I like at least a few aspects of that one. And I still have no idea how I'm going to be doing all this. I'm probably not going to do that part while live streaming, like figuring out what parts of each fairy tale to incorporate and how, if that's what I end up doing. I kind of just have to go through. I'm probably gonna go through all these in more detail, and I don't know. I honestly like. I just a lot of the process for me is just letting it saturate and just thinking about it and paying attention to the ideas that stick out the most. So that's probably what's gonna happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. There are 15 chapters in each of these books, so at most I'll need 15. Oh, there's Rapunzel, and Sleeping Beauty, and Snow White. I already did Snow White. Sleeping Beauty is actually my favorite fairy tales, but I'm not doing it in this one. Plus, I think there are enough elements of Sleeping Beauty, and like they share enough in common with Snow White. And what happened in book one. I don't know. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of different stuff going on, but I'm not staying 100% accurate to any version, any retelling of these in my own retellings. I don't know how I don't know actually. But let's see. The Water of Life. Oh, there's Annie. Anadori Claudia Toyana Italy. She was born Anadori Claudia Toyana Italy, Crown Princess of Kilbany, and she did not open her eyes for 3 days. That is the opening line. I love that book. A king was dying. This is the Water of Life. An old man told his sons that the Water of Life would save him. Each one set out in turn. The 2 older ones, sitting on hopes of being the heir, were rooted to a dwarf on the way and became trapped in ravines. When the youngest son watched the dwarf, asked where he was going, and the dwarf told him his castle needed an iron wand to open the gates and 2 loaves to feed the lions inside. Then he had to get the water before the clock struck 12 and the gates would shut again. He opened the gate with the wand and took the lions to bed. There he came to a hall where there were sleeping princes, and he took rings from their fingers and some bread and a sword from the table. He went on and found a beautiful princess, who kissed him, told him he had freed her, and promised to marry him if he returned within a year. Then she told him where the spring was. He went on, but saw a bed and lay down to sleep. When he woke, it was 11:45. He sprang up, got the water, and escaped through the closing gate, taking off the heel of his boot. He met the dwarf who had told him what happened to his brothers, and that his imploring freed them, warning that they had evil hearts. Interesting. They came to a kingdom plagued by war and famine. The prince killed their foes with the sword and fed them with the loaf. Then the king sang that he fed himself and the people, the dwarves, so not until he didn't kill the people who killed them. But again, grammar. Then they came to 2 more kingdoms in the same situation, and they did the same. Then they got on a ship to cross the sea and come home. The older brother stole the water of life and filled his bottle with seawater. The king was sickened by the seawater. The older brothers accused the youngest brother of trying to poison him and gave him the water of life. Okay. I mean, I've drank seawater before and it didn't poison me, but the king decided to have his youngest son secretly killed as punishment. In parentheses, as punishment. He sent a huntsman with him into the woods, but the huntsman was unable to bring himself to kill him and confessed the deed to the prince. Hey, just like in Snow White, the prince and the huntsman swapped clothes and the prince fled. Treasure arrived. Okay, I'm definitely. This is most likely going to get a reference in the book too. I did not finish reading it, but I'm okay with it right now. It's kind of bizarre how many fairy tales have other elements that are used exactly in different fairy tales. The history of fairy tales totally fascinates me, as does the history of pretty much everything. Hey, there's Mary, Princess Academy. I just finished reading the second sequel, and The Princess in Black. Those 3 are all Shannon Howe books. Let's see. Dune. I've heard so much about Dune, but not anything about what it's actually about. I'm not sure I'm interested in reading it. Princess Nausicaa is in the Odyssey. Say what? There's a movie, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. Her name means burner of ships. Um, Anyways, I love that movie, and that is the only place I have heard the name Nausicaa before. I did not know that she was from a Greek tale. Anyway, How the Princess Aquaria, that is from a book. A lot of these look like they're from books, so if I'm looking that closely. English Gypsy Fairy Tale. Cool, let's check it out. Oh, I can close out. Okay. I only need a couple more, assuming I'm going to use all these if I end up using 15. Ugh. Huh. Features a male hero, so the usual heroine? Little boy was given a little bull calf by his father. Father died, mother remarried. His stepfather was cruel to him, threatened to kill the calf. Old man advised the boy to run away, and he did. He begged for bread, which he shared with the calf. Later, he begged for some cheese, which he would have shared, but the calf refused. He told the boy it would go into the wild and kill all the creatures it finds, except the dragon, which will kill it. It told the boy to climb a tree, and once it was dead, to skin and take its bladder, which would make anything it struck drop dead. It's a really weird thing to do, but okay. I'd be really confused if my calf told me that. With it, he was to kill the dragon. Such a self-sacrificing calf. It happened as the calf said. Monkeys climbed the tree after him. The boy squeezed the cheese, claiming it was Flint. When they saw the way, they retreated. The boy set out to find the dragon and kill it. He found a princess who had been staked out for the dragon. He killed it, though it bit off his forefinger. He said he must leave her, but first he cut out the dragon's tongue and then the princess gave him a diamond ring. The princess told her father, who asked for him to come, and many gentlemen cut off their forefingers and brought diamond rings and the tongues of all kinds of beasts, but none with the dragon's tongue or the princess's ring. The boy came, but the king turned away as a beggar, for the princess knew he was like the boy. Huh. Yeah, probably won't include that one. I'm not including dragons in these books, at least. Actually, I haven't considered including dragons in these books. Maybe I should think about fairy tale creatures, because I haven't included any so far. I make a reference to dwarves. I don't actually call them dwarves in the book, but there are dwarves in the Snow White book. At least I don't think I called them dwarves. I need to go reread those books before I write this book again. I've tried starting to reread That Prince Guy several times. And I'm not saying it's a bad book, I'm just saying that as an author, I hate reading my own books. I've been struggling to get through it. It is actually fairly common for authors to do that. But, yeah. Princess Kaguya, I've watched the movie, and it is kind of boring. But, it reminds me a lot of that one, the Thumbelina, kind of, in many ways. Anyway. Let's see. Oh jeez, look at that name. Princess Amethyst, Alexandra, Augusta, Araminta, Adelaide, Aurelia, Anne, Fantas Morani. One of Seven Sisters. That's a book. Okay. Don't know when that came out. The Great Princess and the Young Gardener. Ooh, it's an Irish fairy tale. Irish fairy tales are fun. They tend to be kind of quirky. Not like a weird. Oh, does quirky have weird connotations now? It seems like it does. I like the word quirky though. Anyway. Oh, it's similar to the Quest for the Golden Firebird. Okay. In that case, we move on. Ooh, Estonian fairy tale. The child who was born from a... Let's check it out. Okay, I don't even know where Estonia is. eastern coast of the Baltic Sea, northern Europe. Yeah, it shows you how much I know. I really don't know the geography of anywhere outside of the Americas. Yeah. Let's see. Queen told a woman that she had two griefs, a new one that her husband was at war, and an old one. They had no children. It's kind of hard to do when your husband's at war. She gave her basket with an egg, and the queen was to put it somewhere warm. In 3 months, it would break and let out a doll. She was to let it alone, and then it would become a baby girl. She would have a baby of her own, a son, and she was to put the girl with him, and show them both to the king, and then raise the son herself, then trust the daughter to a nurse. Furthermore, she must invite this woman to the christening by throwing a wild goose feather into the air. The queen obeyed exactly. When the christening arrived, a dazzlingly beautiful woman came in a cream-colored carriage and was dressed like the sun. She decreed that the girl was to be named Dotterine. The children grew. Dotterine's nurse loved her, but he knew that every night a beautiful one made over her. She confided in the queen, and they decided to keep it a secret. When the twins were 2, wait, they're 12? I'm so confused. Okay. The queen took ill and confided the basket to the nurse, for when Dotterine was 10, then she died. The queen died. Okay. I'm not following very well in the first place. I'm kind of tired. But the king remarried for reasons of ambition. The stepmother hated the twins. Wait, aren't there only reasons, Dotterine? One day she beat Dotterine, and Dotterine ran away to weep. She found the basket, thought something in it might amuse her, and found only a feather. She threw it out the window. A beautiful woman appeared and told her that she was her godmother. She talked with her, told her how to use the basket to feed herself, and said that to summon her, she need only throw the goose wing out the window. So the goose wing, the goose feathers, an element that can totally be referenced easily in a book. Now, I know a lot of these fairy tales are not going to be ones that people recognize. They're not references that people will necessarily recognize. But that's kind of the fun of it. For one, it'll just add more body to the book. Like it's stuff that I can just easily reference in there. And then people who do know these fairy tales or who go on to read these fairy tales can look at this and say, hey, I know what that's from. Because these are not fairy tales that are... Because the idea with what I'm doing isn't necessarily to make the whole book a fairy tale retelling, just to make it a fun book. Another Estonian fairy tale. Let's check it out. The language looks similar to German from what I've seen, but not close enough that I recognize it. At least it did over there. I don't recognize that, the little O with the little wavy thing over it. The tilde, is that what it's called? Is a German thing. Frog of the North is what it's literally translated to. The dragon came from the north and devastated land. It was said that a man with King Solomon's ring could stop it. It's always interesting when King Solomon's ring pops up in a fairy tale. A brave young man set out to find some way. A famous Eastern magician told him that the birds might aid him, and made him a brew that enabled him to understand them. Then said if the man brought him the ring, he would explain the inscription on it. I was talking about water drinking. I'm totally dehydrated right now. He heard birds say that only the witch maiden could help him, and that he could find her at a certain spring when the moon was full. Follow them there. The maiden was offended, but forgave him and took him to her home. Oh, I almost said throne. The youth heard a voice warn him to give her no blood. She asked him to marry him, and he asked to consider. She offered him King Solomon's ring in return for 3 drops of blood. She told him its powers. He said after some days that he did not quite believe it, and she showed him it, and then let him try it. He escaped with the power of invisibility and flew off. I'm not very familiar with the powers of Solomon's ring, but that's interesting. He went to the magician, who read him the ring, and gave him directions on how to kill the dragon. He went to the kingdom where a king offered his daughter and half his kingdom to anyone who could kill the dragon, and the king got him the iron horse and spear the magician directed. With them, the youth carried the magician's orders, changing the ring from finger to finger as needed, and the purple dragon, who married the princess. The vengeful witch maiden pounced on him as an eagle and took back the ring. She changed him in a cave, intending to him to die there, but many years later the magician came to the king and told him he could find him. He followed birds and freed the prince. He was very thin, but the magician nursed him back to health. He went back to his wife and lived in prosperity, but never saw the ring again. I like the adventure aspect of this one, so I'm going to add it in. And go capitalize that. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's good because I don't actually know if I'm going to use all of these. I don't know how many, I really don't know how many of these. I gotta figure this out. But again, that is not something I'll be doing on here tonight. Because that is stuff to keep to myself until the book comes out. Because spoilers. And I'm, look how far I've got in my head. There's still so many fairy tales in here. Like it says at the top of the page that it can't, basically that it can't be a complete list because like there's not enough updating that you can do to make it so. But yeah. Anyway. Oh, I didn't know. Okay. You can only see my Wikipedia page, but I have a lot more pages than that open. Anyway. It is now 2:38 in the morning for me. And I think I've gotten a lot done. I think I stayed a lot better focused than I would have if I'd worked by myself. Even though I'm technically working by myself, but live streaming a video makes me think differently, so that's helpful. So now I am probably going to end here, and I don't think I'm going to work more on the book today because I think I have a lot more thinking to do to figure out more of what I want to do with this book exactly. I'll probably look more into depth into these fairy tales tomorrow night and start looking from there. In the meantime, I'm also playing with the idea of another book I've been reading. I started reading Suddenly Psychic. Suddenly Psychic, as in like psychic, like it's paranormal fantasy. And I love the description, and so far I really love the book. And I'm thinking of doing a book that is similar, but probably just fantasy instead of paranormal fantasy. I've never been a huge fan of paranormal fantasy, although I do really like it. I just don't know if I want to write it. And it'll be about like my stage in life, like early 20s or so, where we've been married a few years and have a kid or two. Still just toying with ideas. It's a brand new idea, but I think it could be really fun. Just to, and of course, there'll be depression involved because it's kind of what I do. I write about depression. Likely the mom will be, or the main character, the mom, she'll be the main character. At least that's the plan. It was a new idea. She'll be struggling with the depression of having gotten married young and started having kids, and she's just sort of lost her identity and doesn't know what she's doing with her life and feels like she's not doing enough just being a mom. And even then, she's struggling with being a mom because that's so kind of like what I've struggled with, and I know so many people who have struggled with the same, and a lot of the people so far who have read my fairy tale books, at least my friends that have read them and loved them and continue to read them by choice, are in the same stage of life as me. So since that's already the audience I'm building, and I do really love this idea, I think that's where I'll go after the series. And hopefully, I think I will get the series finished before I do that. But yeah, that's video. I'm super excited for this, and it's really hard not to be drawn in by the new idea, as it always is. New ideas tend to feel more exciting than old ones. Yeah, so now I might go to bed and read in bed. Yeah, either go read more of the book or webtoons. I'm way behind on webtoons. barely read any of them for weeks, which is sad, but also good because it means I don't have to get left on as many cliffhangers. So I can just read a bunch of chapters at once. Woohoo! Yeah, so I've had fun, and hopefully I will be doing more actual videos later. Today I actually did clean, and the only reason I didn't live stream it was because it was required a lot of walking between rooms, half of it, and the other half was washing dishes. And I don't have a mic, and I don't have anywhere to put my laptop while I'm streaming that, so that would not work. But yeah, but I do want to do more of those videos, and I want to do more shorter ones too. I'm thinking about starting a series where I just go through songs and talk about what they mean to me about mental health and the impact they have. My mental health, I'm pretty sure I could get away with that without infringing copyright, since it would be like contributing to the song and educational. I just have to like actually sit down and do these things. I have so many ideas, and I feel like I don't have enough at the same time. But there's an update. If anyone's even going to be watching this, I really don't think anyone is watching. It says 1 concurrent viewer, but again, no one said hi. But yeah, that's the plan. I have lots of nonfiction too. This book is just sitting here, staring at me. I don't know why I put this here. Personalities at Permanent. I just got this like last week. I gotta read that one too. But I probably should not read nonfiction, right? Because that makes me think more, and then I won't fall asleep for longer. So, yeah, let's just end there. I hope you have a great night, and this has been fun. And I will see you next time. I hope you know that you are loved and you matter. Okay, see you later.